Alright, let's just try out this level real quick. So, looks like we're starting off with a pipe. I'm just going to go in at the first one, obviously. If you drop in here, like... What? What the hell is this garbage? No. Not dealing with it. Who the hell makes a level like that? I've had it. I've really had it with these horrible levels in Mario Maker. So today, we're going to be teaching these people how to make a good level. Okay, so strap in. You're in for a wildly average ride. Let's do this. That is right. Today I'm going to be giving my personalized tutorial on level design. We're going to be starting with the basics, and who knows, this may even turn to a series. I guess it just depends on how lazy I am. Regardless, without further ado, let's just get into it. Now wait, before you even touch that beautiful Mario Maker editor, I need you to think about a few things. What is your level going to be about? You need to pick a gimmick for the level. So this could be an enemy or a block, anything you want. Just make sure you're focusing on that for the entire level. We do not want to have a romp. A romp is a level with no centralized focus or gimmick. Once you've picked a gimmick, draw out some setups for it, and make sure it can be evolved in multiple ways throughout the level. Planning is key, folks. I see a lot of levels dwindle in quality towards the end just because you could tell that the creator obviously didn't think the whole process through. But now, with all that out of the way, we can actually start designing our level within the editor. Let's go. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard a breakdown of this tried and true structure to a good level, but I'm going to go over it one more time for the people that may not know. This specific method is called 4-step level design. Now, it isn't the only way to design a level, but it's definitely a good baseline to start at, and it's easy to understand, so we'll use it for this video. First things first, take that gimmick you dreamt up earlier and slap it into your level. The first step in this 4-step level design is to introduce your gimmick in a safe environment. So, don't have any hazards in this first area. Doing this allows the player to test out said gimmick before they actually get tested on it. Nothing is more frustrating than having no idea what is going on. Trust me. Moving on to the second step. This is where you let your creativity flow. Keep on evolving the setups of your gimmick and increasing their difficulty. Once you've done this a few times, it's time for the pre-checkpoint challenge. Now, the challenge before the checkpoint is pretty important. This one needs to be somewhat of a decent challenge, so the player feels safety and fulfillment when they get their grimy fingers on that beautiful checkpoint flag. After the checkpoint, we need to give the player a break. Make this next section significantly easier and less deadly than the pre-checkpoint challenge. This section doesn't even have to contain your gimmick if you want. It can just be what I like to call breathing room. But then, after the break, we're back into the action for the fourth and final step of our 4-step level design process. This involves introducing a twist to the gimmick. You can do this by adding any new element that complements your pre-existing gimmick to spice it up a bit. It's like adding shredded cheese to your salad. It's great. Obviously, after this new twist is introduced, you would evolve it as a concept all the way up to the final challenge of the level. The big crazy setup right before the goal. This should be testing the player on everything they learned previously in the level, and obviously use both your gimmick and your twist in conjunction to create that daring finish to your amazing level. In addition to the overall structure of the level, I have a few more tips that will make your level a bit more enjoyable to the player. Now, these aren't necessary, but I would highly recommend it just to give your stage some extra flair. The first piece of advice I have is to add some extra challenges in your level that lead to extra rewards. This could be coins or even a 1-up if the challenge is hard enough to warrant one. These types of challenges should be clearly visible to the player as they are making their way through the main path of the level, but not to be confused with the actual main path of the level. What I mean by this is that the player should know which way is the challenge and which way is the path to the finish line of the level. On top of these extra challenges, you could also hide secrets. These are a bit different than the challenges as their locations are a bit more hidden to the player. They still contain the same rewards obviously, as there aren't many options for optional collectibles in Mario Maker, but it's still always a great feeling for a player when they are rewarded for exploration. Alright, so with all that instruction out of the way, we're going to be taking a look at an example of a level that executes 4-step level design perfectly. This level is made by my good friend LaunchStar, and I think he did a really good job with it. Now, this level is actually a castle, so that means there's going to be a boss at the end, but this doesn't inherently affect the design at all. It's just going to be a great complement as a final challenge tacked on at the end of the level. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit more less formal here in this narration here, but this is Skewer Pursuer by LaunchStar. As you can see, as we come into the level, the player is introduced to the gimmick, which obviously is skewers. It is kind of hard for the player to actually get hurt there, which is why is it an introduction. But here you actually introduce a hazard to the gimmick by making it kind of a tense situation getting through these skewers in the amount of time so that they don't get hit from the back, right? So once the player gets through these, they are met with their first extra challenge, which is this 10 coin, which is pretty simple, easy challenge, which is why it only gives you a 10 coin. But after this, the player just keeps on evolving their gimmick throughout here, adding more and more hazards. Obviously there's the lava at the bottom that is going to insta-kill you if you screw up. And then after this, we actually are met with our first secret, which is right here where you hit the on-off block, which then unlocks the scroll and lets you get this 30 coin and 1-up. Now after this, they introduce part of the twist that is coming up, which is dropping from claws. Some players may not know that you can drop from claws, so they're gonna go ahead and introduce that gimmick right there. And then once we get in here, we can see the twist to the gimmick right here. So obviously you saw that break from the checkpoint behind this door that we just came through, and then we have the twist to the gimmick, which is the snake blocks that are actually just hard blocks so that the skewers can destroy them. So as the player makes their way through here, the platform that they have to stand on, the snake blocks, are getting smaller and smaller because the skewers are actually destroying them. So this is a great complement to a gimmick, and obviously these coins are placed around so the player does not get bored by just standing on the snake blocks, right? And then we have another secret 1-up right here at the end. Now, after this, the player gets one more break for their second checkpoint, and then this is where we're going to be seeing the boss. So this is going to be counting as the final challenge for the player here, and this is obviously a fight with Bowser Jr., but it's going to be combining the gimmick and the twist to kind of create a final challenge for the player where they have to beat Bowser Jr. in the time that it takes before they lose the platform below them. So once they get through here, obviously they have to go to the other world to get to the end of the level, and there it is for you. So that is basically Skewer Pursuer. This is a great example of 4-step level design, and I want to thank LaunchStar for suggesting this level to me. And that's it, 4-step level design. Pretty simple, huh? I hope you learned something useful throughout this video, and maybe even got some inspiration for your own level. Oh, and if you're looking for ways to spruce up your level aesthetically, which I think is also a very important part of a good level, I have a guide on that as well. I'll link it in a card right now so you can check it out. But with that, I want to thank you all for watching. If you're still here at the end, you're a real one. Also, if you'd like, you can follow my Twitch where I play Mario Maker all the time. We have a lot of fun over there, so it would be great to see some of the YouTube crew come and check us out sometime. Thanks so much, guys, and see you all in the next video.